Yeah.
All right. I've never heard a more perfect description of Chuck. Amateur hot.
April is an important month to the Flying Valiant and me. It was 60 years ago to the very week of the Hot Wheels Collector Nationals that the Flying Valiant rolled off the Dodge main assembly line in Hamtramck, Michigan. 33 years to that same week later, it was towed home by a goofy 15-year-old that had no idea what he'd gotten himself into. 27 years and many adventures later, those two took a drive to Atlanta for their first Hot Wheels Collector Nationals. Because of that car, I was able to make new lifelong friends and turn digital friends into real-life ones at a gathering of strangers that somehow felt like home. But that car didn't get me there by itself. It was powered by my friend Ben telling me that my old clunker was worth saving and backing it up with hours and hours of elbow grease. My incredible wife and family that gave me the support and strength to get behind the wheel. My co-hosts Mark and David and Pia and Kimber and Justin that helped craft a wild idea into the Diecast Breakdown Show and the Diecast Media Network channel. The patrons that put gas in the tank and the gear in the duffel bag. Amazing guests, including the ones I got to meet at the show, like Mike Zarnock and Brendan Vituski, and many, many others that generously shared their time and stories with us, so we had something worth talking about on the show. Friends old and new, like Eddie at Simple Customs and Steve Young at Miniature Mustangs, Kraut Customs, Kent and Brent at the Mid-State Collectors Club, and John Lambert over at Lamley Group, Mark and Jennifer, who hosted an amazing show, and so many more that made the destination worth the drive. I can't thank them enough. Just like I can't begin to thank each and every viewer that decided out of all the stuff on the internet, this channel was worth a try. I'm not going to go too deep into my experience at the Hot Wheels Collector Nationals just because everybody else has covered the event in great detail. And
all right, Chuck, talk about what we're about to do.
All right, I'm about to enter the customs thing. I've got about 10 or 12 customs that you may have seen on the channel over the years, including one that I built for my daughter that she made me promise I'd give her the prize of hit one. So we'll see. Tracy, I don't know. I'll do my best and see what happens. It's the first in-person custom event, so let's see what happens.
Let's go.
Yeah, I entered the custom event and I won second place in the diorama category, and that was wonderful. It was nice to meet other amazing customizers and winners like Doug Woods and Carly of Kraut Customs. It was awesome to go room to room and see stuff that you wouldn't see anywhere else and meet people with amazing stories that you wouldn't have anywhere else, and all of that was wonderful. And yes, the tiny cars are nice, but for me, it's always been the people that make the hobby truly special. And that's why we focus so much on the people of Diecast, on Diecast Media Network, and on Diecast Breakdown. It's the stories that they tell that make the cars what they are and make the cars special. This trip was a turning point for the show, for Diecast Media Network, and myself. I left with a full heart and a deep love for this community and the people that make it so special. I didn't buy much at the show, and in fact, this is probably the first time I've ever gone to an event and left with more money than I started, minus expenses, of course. And I do have a small haul video to show you after this, but the main thing that was on my mind the most as I drove home was just, again, how wonderful it was to talk with all of you and see people in person, give out customs that I'd worked really hard on to people and just surprise them out of nowhere with a little piece of this channel and this project in their hands, and look forward with great anticipation for what's ahead for me, the Flying Valiant, and all of you who are coming along with us for the ride. So again, a deep thank you to the patrons, the subscribers, the viewers who stumble across this channel and decide to stick around, the people that share this, that out of their generosity jump over to Driven Dreams and pledge cars to kids in need. There's so much work and love that goes into this, and it's so great to see it spread all over the internet and all over events like this one. All right, that's enough sentimentality. Let's get to the tiny cars.
Wow. You can't see what I can see, but wow.
All right, so this is going to be a real quick, haul, because I didn't really get that much. But, again, here's that tractor that Eddie made. It's very cool, very creative. I love when people use big things to look like small things, and I love all these little things like the terminals, and got some a cable management nail that's been turned into something, and got some spent shells, casings. Apologies, Eddie. My cat knocked this off the shelf almost as soon as I got home, and I had to glue it back together. I hope I got it pretty close. They also knocked this one off, so it's missing its rocket. I'm going to find the rocket. It's on the floor somewhere. I'm still cleaning up around here. But again, look at this awesome stuff that Eddie did with the red line wheels and, taking this, I think this is a Matchbox Lambo, yep, and meeting it to a motorcycle, and it has this really cool rocket engine on the back that I need to find. And again, a quick look at this. I love the detail on it, the splitter with the connecting rods, the little drilled and inserted exhaust outputs. I think this one got knocked around too. I think that's where this piece went. So I need to reattach that. Sorry again, Eddie. I thought they were safe. Cats prove that nothing is safe. I will fix it. I also wanted to show off, this is the car that I got from Kraut Customs. He very kindly Carly gave me this after I gave him one of my customs, which doesn't seem fair because he got one of my mass-produced customs, although this is one of his as well, but this is still just beautiful work, and I really want to draw attention to the fact that that is hand-painted. That is not decals. None of this is decals. That is all hand-painted stuff, and his work is wonderful. You can find him online. I'll make sure I link to him, and buy his customs, support him. He and his partner were doing some really cool stuff. She was selling socks. He was, selling cars to raise money for, some really good charities. He raised well over $2,000 at the show for charity. So check his stuff out. Also, just really wanted a quick shout out to Brendan for finding the right matching pen for this De Tomaso. And again, apologies to everybody who was behind me while we chatted. We went a little long, but it was really, really cool to connect with him again, and we're looking forward to having him back on Diecast Breakdown. Finally, I wanted to show off my trophy because I had never seen this casting before. It's called the Gangster Grin, and this is the metal version of it. It's got rail riders on it. It's just kind of stuck on top. I get it. It's really hard to stick a car to a trophy. Not really sure the story on this one, other than that it did not run for very long. I know it was in the Boulevard series as a premium, and there was a mainline version of it. So it's kind of a tricky casting to find. It was supposed to be a modern take on a 49 Merc lowrider. So kind of a funky design, definitely of its time period, early mid-2000s. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that there was actually not just a car on top of the trophy, but a premium car. So very cool, and again, congrats to all the people that won for the customs, the coloring, and the drawing contests. It's just really cool to be a part of that, and now I guess I have to compete in the pro category. This is a cool find. I've wanted this one for a while. It's an old Matchbox Superfast camper. It's not really based on anything specifically, although I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be an old Ford truck. I think it might actually even say Ford in there. Can you see that up close? I don't know. But British Ford, of course. But I just like the corrugated design. It's a little over stylized, but I think this would be a fun custom, especially as a Gaslands type thing. I only bought 2 Hot Wheels this trip, and one of them was this one. And it's not even because it's a casting I particularly like. I just wanted this one for the Tampo, and the Tampo says Scumbum on the back, which is a fun Easter egg to Smokey and the Bandit. If you watched it on TBS or TNT in the 90s or 80s, they changed the language so that the words that Buford T. Justice actually says are converted to scumbum. So I thought that was very funny, and as a Smokey and the Bandit fan, I had to have that in my collection. Here's the other Hot Wheels I got. It's a Plymouth GTX, which I already have plenty of this casting. In fact, I got rid of some of this casting at the event, but it's an FTE, and it was $3. And Tiny Track Cars has got me kind of hooked on building race cars, and so I thought maybe this would be a cool candidate for a future event as a Mopar guy. All right, now on to the stuff that I got the day of the show. The public show. I only bought 3 things. I bought 3 Johnny Lightnings. They are 2 Dodge Darts. The 2 variants of what is that line called? It's not Sizzlers, but it's something where they basically have no hoods and little die-cast metal engines, and I like the die-cast metal engines because they're actually weighty. So these are going to be parts cars. They've got great Mopar style dog dishes on them and raised white letter BF Goodriches. So those are perfect candidates for donors. And I got this cool hearse demolition derby car with these awesome mud tires and nice engine detail. So there's a lot of cool donor parts to be had here. Don't know why you would have parachutes on a demolition derby car, but hey, there you go. All right, now on to the Tamicas that I got. First, I got this vintage Toyota Crown. It's 1/65th scale because Tamika likes to put their actual scales on there and remind you that they did not actually make it 1/64 scale, but that's still nice that they do that. So 1/65, I think, is mind over matter for me. I don't mind, it don't matter. So, but it's a cool vintage Toyota casting, and I've wanted to have this one in my collection as a potential customizer option, and for $5, I couldn't say no to that. Bought this from Ian Woods, who has connections to Matchbox. His son Doug Woods is a really cool guy, Canadian customizer, won awards. His daughter won awards at the show, so it was very nice to meet them, and I haven't had a chance to look at this one yet in person, but I remember Clarkson had this one on Grand Tour, and I just thought it was a very cool kind of Asian take on the take a Mercury Cougar and slap some 30s fenders on it and call it a day thing that was popular in the 80s and 90s. I believe this one's based on a Nissan Silvia. But yes, the Mitsuoka Lisade. Very fun design. This car is actually 1/68th scale, according to the bottom. Again, I think pretty close that it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, obviously, like, you know, this Johnny Lightning, that's way smaller than 1/64 scale for a Cadillac. So, you know, again, something that I think I need to do a video on, because this scale stuff is something that really drives me nuts sometimes. Sometimes I do mind, and it does matter. Speaking of, here's another Tamika, the Volkswagen Type 1. This one was a gift from David Johns. He was selling it, and then he noticed I kept peeking at it, so finally he gave it to me. But this would be like looks like a 67, 66, 67 VW Bug, because it would be the European one. It would be a 67, because it still has the glass over headlights, not the sealed beams, but it's got kind of the more nubbed back on it. So it could just be that it's supposed to be sealed beam, and this would be like a 68 or 69, but still very cool casting. Again, I think this one would probably be closer to like 1/58th scale, something like that. It's pretty big, you know, by comparison to, you know, a Toyota Crown that's 1/65th scale. So yeah, this is pretty big, but it's a very nice casting, a very cool, could be a good Herbie candidate, aside from the rear there, but still, you know, it could be a cool Bumblebee from the movie Bumblebee car. And this one was my big spend. Spent a whole $15 on this one. I've always liked these weird Subaru 360s, and finally got one. And again, I think this one's probably closer to O scale than S scale. You know, it's probably closer to 1/48th scale than anything else. And yes, I know I'm destroying the box, but that's okay, because I'm going to display it open. So there we go. Let's get it up. That's weird. Huh. Subaru 360. So let's see what the scale actually is. 1/50th scale. I think that's the biggest 1/64th scale car that I've gotten. So this is very big. So yeah, it's actually much closer to G scale or O scale than S scale. Opening frunk. Nothing there because the engine's in the back. But yeah, very nice detailing on this. Nice rubber tires. Pretty simple chassis underneath. Not lensed headlamps. I like that it's done up like a race car with the taped lights. Be very fun to see a bunch of these racing around the track. But anyway, it's the Japanese Knot Beetle, and it's a very cool car. There was one rattling around Gainesville for a little bit. I haven't seen it in a while. I hope it's okay. All right, one more real quick thing. These are the bags that I got of wheels for $2.50 a set. I thought they were really nice. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just give you a taste of the kind of wheels that I was able to get for $2.50 a set. It was actually a little cheaper than that because it was buy 10 sets, get one free. Now it's a set being 2 sets of axles, so 4 wheels. But got some really cool JDM style. We got some cool Aero style in various colors. You got kind of a funky wire wheel style. Some beadlock 4x4 rims. I like these a lot. They're kind of a off-road, small off-road with Goodyear raised white letters. Let's see. I think there were a few Steely type sets in here. There's a Steely set, and there's another Steely set with a kind of cool chrome ring on it. I thought that was very cool. It's very, it'd be great for like a VW or something like that. And yeah, so you find all sorts of great stuff in the different rooms you go into. Another Aero set, kind of Fuchs style, Fox style. I don't know, kind of like on a Porsche. Yeah, your big drag slicks. Kind of a red line type look on those again, and they had a couple different sizes on that. And yeah, so lots of cool stuff to be found. You never knew what you were going to find in each room. So those are the finds I had, but again, the true beauty of what I found was the people and connections and chatting with all sorts of awesome folks and making new friends. So if you have a chance to go to a Hot Wheels convention and you can get the tickets, I highly suggest you do it. It's a lot of fun, even if you're not going to buy stuff. That was literally all I got, and most of those were free things. But again, it was just wonderful meeting everybody. The people are what make the show special. The cars are fun, but we come for the people and the connections and the stories and the memories. So again, shout out to everybody that I met there. You're all wonderful. I'm looking forward to talking to you more and keeping those relationships going. But I'm also grateful to you for watching, liking, subscribing, hitting the bell. The patrons that make the show go, you can join their ranks by clicking join or going to diecastmedianetwork.com. And of course, check out drivendreams.org, our charity where we're raising 24,000 cars for kids in need. But as always, I really appreciate you, and I want to thank you for coming along with me for the ride. So until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags.